Hello and welcome to this insightful video. I'm Ryan Chan, CEO and founder of Upkeep. Today we are diving into the complex world of planning and scheduling in a business environment. We'll be addressing common challenges, sharing valuable tips and tricks, and exploring the tools that can help you streamline your operation. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by this aspect of your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Every manager, company, and industry that employs multiple people will encounter challenges with planning and scheduling from time to time. It's a tricky balancing act, ensuring the needs of the company align with the needs of the employees in a way that is economically viable. New systems, computers, cooperative employees, and much more can help solve these problems, but eventually they circle back around to the root issues behind company pitfalls. Sometimes it may even seem impossible to break out of this cycle of frustration. But don't worry. That's where knowing some tips, tricks, and common pitfalls can really help everyone involved. Let's start by examining the most common situations that companies face, leading to the need for better planning and scheduling solutions. Then we'll move on to the most helpful tips and tricks to avoid pitfalls in planning and scheduling. Finally, we'll explore the different options that companies have today to solve these problems. In most cases, the tips and tricks that people use in planning and scheduling employee workloads are a direct result of the different pitfalls they've discovered. For instance, a company's workarounds within a computerized maintenance management system, or CMMS, may be developed because the system in question doesn't allow them to perform a critical part or task. This can lead to confusion, misunderstandings, and more down the road. Another common situation is when a company is using a manual system or a software system to plan and schedule tasks that's a bad fit for the company. For example, a 3 to 5 person team doesn't need an enterprise management software system, but they could possibly benefit from a work order system. While manual systems or missized systems may work in the short term, they're setting you up for failure in the future. Other common situations include expecting that your employees will understand complicated software, not giving people enough time to adjust to a new system, neglecting scheduling and planning in general, expecting that people understand the system without checking in and making sure that they do, using overly complicated systems, saving money on systems that are glitchy, unreliable, or otherwise faulty, backlogging systemic issues that keep cropping up, ignoring employee feedback, and much more. But what about the situations where you have a system that is properly sized and that everyone has a basic understanding of how it works? What are some tips and tricks that smooth out the inevitable bumps in the planning and scheduling phases of your business operations? The first tip that all companies should consider, regardless of size, is to invest in some kind of computerized system for planning and scheduling that fits their needs. The bigger the company, the more sophisticated this software will need to be in order to keep up with the demands that you will inevitably place. While hard copy systems may work now for certain small companies, they probably don't work as well as you think. They are also inevitably going the way of the dinosaur, particularly for companies that wish to scale their growth. Some of the different systems that may be used include computerized maintenance management systems, enterprise asset management software systems, work order management systems, purchase order software and other specialized tracking systems, inventory management software, and other computerized systems, located in a central database that is easily accessible from multiple devices. The next thing to keep in mind is that it's all very well to have a quality, top-of-the-line computer system. However, it doesn't do you or the company as a whole well if the employees don't know how to use it. Whatever system you choose to use, it should be easy to train new people on, sustainable for the long term, and simple to scale as your company grows. If the perfect system for your needs at present does not scale, consider how hard it will be to move to another system in the future and take that into account before you make the decision to buy. After your system is in place, it's time to look at the projects in question. Are they clearly defined? Are timelines set in place for completion? Is this information accessible to your workers? While you may think that this information is all present and in your software, in many cases it's not. Make sure that your parameters for your projects are clearly defined and accessible before you move on. It's also worthwhile to evaluate the people that are creating your plans and schedules. Is maintenance planning and scheduling a strong point of theirs? Or have they been simply put there because you needed somebody there and they were available? Are there other people that could do a better job? Do you need to hire an expert for this position? Finally, make sure that proper, up-to-date planning and scheduling is actually happening on a regular basis. While the day-to-day routine of a small janitorial company may not change that much, the needs of your company will evolve, which affects all departments. One of the biggest mistakes that companies make is having outdated planning and scheduling. Do your scheduling and planning practices address the needs and challenges of your company today? Creating a template for planning can be boiled down into 6 steps. First, figure out exactly what you need from your software. Second, make a list of the things that it would be nice to have. Third, be realistic about your expectations. Not everything can fit into one piece of software. Fourth, streamline your suite of software and systems into what will actually be needed and what will actually be used by team members. Fifth, match the two up if there are differences between them. And finally, test it out and see how it works. Regardless of how you start your planning process, keep it simple. No one benefits from convoluted and complicated plans. People simply don't have the bandwidth to process all the information in order to figure out what they have to do in the next half hour. Simplicity is key to a smooth plan and schedule. Other specific planning suggestions include keeping it high level as opposed to granular, keeping it realistic, keeping it organized, and keeping it accountable. Assign specific individuals to tasks so responsibilities are clear. It's very hard to schedule appropriately without a solid plan backing it up. Once your overall and individual plans are firmed up, your scheduling can be streamlined and optimized. Some simple tips include starting with the basic schedule, assessing workloads, listening to your employees, and adjusting and rescheduling as necessary. When working with people, the most unexpected things often happen. While proper planning and scheduling can help reduce these issues can often slip through. How do you create a sustainable plan for pitfalls and schedule around unplanned activities? It's a difficult balance to strike. On the one hand, too much disaster planning can lead to stagnant workflows and inefficiencies. On the other hand, if you don't have a plan to fall back on when unexpected issues arise, the company will be left high and dry to deal with the situation. Planning and scheduling by its nature deals with every day of the company's life. However, alternate plans smooth over the issues and pitfalls that inevitably arise. Here's how you can plan and schedule around the glitches, bumps, and detours. It may seem counterintuitive to work pitfall planning into your overall planning routine. However, you can ensure success by creating protocols and/or standard operating procedures. This is particularly valuable in industries such as manufacturing, maintenance, and others that focus on fixing other people's issues, mistakes, and other challenges that they are facing. As a general rule, the best ways to do this are going to depend on your company's unique needs. The important thing to do is to remember to plan in time in case something goes wrong. With proper preventative and proactive maintenance, you can discover the most common pitfalls and plan to avoid them when they happen. It's important to note that the above only applies to inevitable and unforeseen, but still predictable situations. Obviously, when things keep going wrong, you need a plan to fix them. The best preventative maintenance and backup plans can only work if there is a steady track record of care for the company's assets already in place. Pitfall planning cannot encompass every situation that arises in a business. Whatever software you use should be flexible enough to allow scheduling around unplanned issues and emergencies. It should also be easy to log the time and resources spent on these emergencies so that the company can analyze the issues at its leisure. And then resources should be spent on studying these situations. The goal behind this study is to prevent these issues cropping up in the future so that they will not need to be scheduled around again. To be absolutely clear, this is not an endorsement of devoting time to emergencies. Instead, you are analyzing previous challenges to better prepare for the future and find solutions. Simply put, your software system should be flexible enough to schedule around unplanned issues, and your employees should feel free to work on unplanned issues. Are both of these things present in your system? How about the systems that you are considering? Do your employees act proactively when issues come up, and does the company as a whole support these efforts or not? For companies, planning and scheduling are rather like going to the dentist and the doctor. It's something that has to be done so that other things can function in their intended manner. Continuing with our analogy, people who forget to go to the doctor and the dentist generally have more troubles down the road than people who do have regular appointments. The same can be said for companies that do not pay attention to planning and scheduling. What does your planning and scheduling look like at your business? Are you happy with the way things are going, or do some changes need to be made? If so, how will you streamline and optimize your maintenance planning and scheduling protocols? Careful consideration of these questions is the first step toward an investment in your future. And that wraps up our discussion for today. We've covered the importance of effective planning and scheduling, common pitfalls, and tips to streamline your operations. We hope you found this information valuable. If you did, please consider subscribing to our channel for more insightful content. To learn more about how Upkeep can help your business, visit our website at upkeep.com. We appreciate your time and look forward to helping you optimize your business operations. Thank you for watching.